So they were on a vacation of a lifetime. But when he looked at his photo, there was a dark, creepy man in their picture that wasn't there when he took the picture. So he's on vacation. They're at this beautiful bridge. The sunset's happening. His family's there right by the steps. Vacation of a lifetime, right? He snaps the picture. But when he looks at it, there's the outline of a man, I guess a shadow man, standing on the stairs right near the family. And he has his wife look at the picture. She had never seen it before. And so that just adds to the legend of all the spooky stories that surround the London Bridge. And one of them is sightings of possibly Jack the Ripper and other spirits and souls. So thanks for being here. I'm Dr. Andrea O'Connor, talking about real life medical stories and sometimes spooky stories as well. And today we have my husband here, but he'll be in the background because that's what he is choosing.
That's what I do.
That's what he does. He kind of helps support in the background. So that's great. So, fun fact, the London Bridge is now in Arizona. So back in the 1960s, this private, I tried to do some research on it, but a private purchaser bought the bridge and had it shipped over brick by brick. In fact, they had to put the serial numbers on each brick to piece it back together in its original state. And it's interesting because only the exterior of that very famous bridge that I think was originally built in the 1830s, didn't you think it was older?
I did.
Yeah, because what's the rhyme? London Bridge is falling down. Super creepy rhyme, right? Right. 1830s? Like, didn't you think that was like more like the 1600s? But originally there was a bridge before that was actually built by the Romans. But all the energy and the crimes and the murders and the wars have imprinted on that bridge from the Roman times of the original bridge and the 1830s when they built the new one. And then in the 1960s, it made its way over here to Lake Havasu, Arizona. Now, I've been to Lake Havasu. Have you been to Lake Havasu?
I have never been there.
Would you like to go?
Would love to.
You want to go now?
Not right now.
Not right now.
Hot there.
It is too hot. It's very hot in Arizona right now. I was in a bad mood today because it was so hot. But Lake Havasu is very, very beautiful. And I've been there before. You stay on a houseboat, you spend the night, and you can float on these boats right under the London Bridge. And a lot of people were reporting screaming and like high-pitched screeching when the sun goes down. But since I was there, I noticed there was a lot of bats in the area, and there's areas for the bats to kind of burrow and hide because the London Bridge is hollow. I think in the original bridge, they used it for traffic, or people could walk in it, and there was service doors and all that kind of stuff. Did you know about that?
Did not know that.
Did not know. This is just from the reading I've done. If you have more information about it, please post it here. But I think that's where the legend of Jack the Ripper got kind of tied to the London Bridge, because a lot of his murders and atrocities happened about a mile away from the bridge. And some people suggest that he may have escaped the area by either going in a service door or hiding in the hollow recesses of the London Bridge. We don't really know for sure. But here's the interesting part. So when tourists come to Lake Havasu now, they report seeing some phenomenon. So the most famous one is the woman in black. And she's been reported to kind of roam across the bridge. She's all dressed in 19th century black clothing, but her face is kind of blurred and obscured. And then they see her running and jumping off the bridge and then disappears. And this is not how people dress in Arizona.
No.
Right. Where do you think she's coming from?
Who knows?
Yeah. So, I think she's probably originally connected to the bridge. It probably occurred in London because you don't wear big, thick 19th century garb here. And in that time, I don't even think Lake Havasu had anything but Native Americans in the area, right? There wasn't, maybe some pioneers and settlers, but it's not like it is today. It's a vacation town now. It's a destination. And really the reason why he bought the bridge was to get people to come to Lake Havasu. It's like a tourist attraction, but we didn't know it would bring all this energy with it. The other famous sighting is seeing one of the famous London policemen. What do they call it? Bobbies, a Bobby. And he's still on the beat, walking the bridge back and forth. And people think he's dressed up like it's just part of the show, part of the attraction. and then he just disappears. And then another sighting is another couple in, 19 clothes from like the early 1900s, and they look so real that people go up to them and ask them for directions or ask to have a picture, and then they're gone. But through my research, there's not been actual reports of seeing Jack the Ripper. It's just that he may be, it may be part of the legend because people are catching shadow people on the pictures they take on the London Bridge in Lake Havasu. And I know there's been some TV shows about this. They filmed 2 scary movies. I never saw them. I looked up the titles. I didn't think it was important because.
What about the lampposts?
Oh, this is crazy. So not only does each brick that builds the entire structure have the energy of all the executions that were done on London Bridge. Sometimes I've even read that they would display severed heads of enemies. But the ornate metal lampposts that still adorn the bridge today, they are the original melted down cannons from the time of Napoleon Bonaparte. And they were the cannons in one of the wars, and I can't remember which war it was. Can't remember. If you know the name of the war, it was a particular one where these cannons were from. And imagine the imprints on that metal from that type of war, because imagine all the souls that kind of passed through that area and maybe attached to the cannons, because I think that's maybe one of the reasons why people are seeing the apparitions on the London Bridge. And so I don't know, do you think Jack the Ripper is lurking there?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
What is the shadow person that people are catching?
There could be weird energy that people are.
Oh, wait.
People could be seeing like the ghosts of his victims, things like that.
So my husband and I do believe in the spirit world. We believe in God. We believe we move on to the other side here. We have experiences in this house. You've had an experience.
I have several, yeah.
Yeah, he's had several experiences. We are going to do a live chat tonight. So it'll be, if you're watching this after I've posted this video, the next video in this series, if you see live stream, we're going to talk more in depth about what goes around our house here. But I really wanted to focus on spooky Arizona and the London Bridge, because I just think, even you haven't seen it yet, but even being in person, it is kind of magical. You can't help but standing on the bridge having a form of reverence there. I mean, that is true history, and especially what's going on in the UK and London right now. Are you familiar what's going on there?
I am.
Yeah.
I am, thanks to you.
Yeah. So prayers to what's going on in London, the UK. I hope they find a way through that. It's what I can say for that. But yeah, so no to Jack the Ripper, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you think that the lady in black that they see trying to kind of end her own life, what do you think about that? Do you think that's just a shadow person, or do you think that's really a soul of
a potential, like one of his former victims, something like that, or try to just get away from him?
Oh, really? That's an interesting take. I didn't think of it like that, like a former victim running away. I did not think about that. Or could it have been like a scorned woman or someone who lost her husband? Oh, and another interesting thing was the plague. So the plague was occurring because they had waves of the plague more than once. And so think of all the bodies that were shipped on boats that floated under that London Bridge that I think they called it the Black River of Death, because there was so many bodies floating in the boats under it during the plague. Imagine all that energy imprinting on the bridge there as well. I guess it's a lucky thing that the bridge has a chance to kind of retire there, because Lake Havasu, like I said, it's a very beautiful place. But I invite you to come to Arizona. You've got to check out Lake Havasu. Maybe don't do it in August because, 120 degrees there right now?
Something like that, yes.
Yes. The best time to come, I would say, is February. Do you think February?
Perfect.
February is the most beautiful time of year here and in Lake Havasu, and I think you might really enjoy it. Anything to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. Okay, so if you join us on the live stream, we'll talk more about this mysterious house, and I thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.